The plan is to examine petals, stems, and stamens from flowers that you may have access to. In addition to using circular slides, let's also create new samples on standard glass slides. Based on your preference, feel free to choose either slide system to begin with. Retrieve white and green stickers, as well as a couple of blank slides. Take a piece from the petal using tweezers or scissors, and cover it with the white square sticker. Add a green label at either end of the slide to write notes on it, such as plant name, part, date, or place, etc. Peel the skin of the stem. The key to obtaining a good sample is to make it as thin as possible. This may not be a simple task in most cases and requires practice and experience through trial and error. If the sample is too thin to handle, such as sticking to the tweezers and not coming off, add a drop of water on the slide first. This will help the sample to come off and spread out in the water. Mount the sample onto the stage and bring it into focus. You will notice that the petal surface is tightly packed with cells, some of which are colorful while others are transparent. There are also tiny spiral tubes, which are vessels for transporting water and minerals. Sometimes the petal sample is too thick to obtain a sharp image. You would need a few attempts to make a good sample. On the stem skin sample, the first thing to notice is the presence of many fine hairs, known as trichomes in textbooks. Although we may not have learned much about them, their shapes and details are interesting to observe. The second noticeable feature is the presence of stomata, which are commonly found on leaves. It's intriguing to encounter them on such a tiny stem sample. Collecting pollen samples is relatively simple. Take a sampling sticker and gently tap it on the stamens, and many pollen grains will adhere to it. Use both bright field and dark field techniques to observe the pollen grains. There are numerous details on these tiny grains, such as size, shape, extrusions, grooves, textures, pores, etc. In addition to examining dry pollen, it's also common to rehydrate pollen. There is a standard procedure to do so in a lab, but here it is done by adding a drop of water onto the pollen directly. In this particular sample, the pollen's shape transformed from football-like to a spherical ball instantly, which is truly amazing. Thank you for using uHandy Pro, and we hope to see you again in other episodes.